time I felt it. Pearls all down her neck, so dark, so smooth, yeah, she got me wrecked. She gave me magic in my fingertips, as my teeth are tugging on her lips. When I tapped that bottom, she liked it, so smooth like the first time I felt it. Baby, I don't wanna cause a scene, but I love the way I make you scream. We can float together on a dream, to the rhythm of a make-believe, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, when you're in my hands, I call you mine. I just got to have you all the time. Wind you up like I got you feeling right. I've been waiting for you all my life. If I turn it on, it might get loud. Set the rhythm, we can work it out. I like the way that we fit together, so smooth like the first time I felt her. Baby, I don't wanna cause a scene, but I love the way I make you scream. We can float together on a dream, to the rhythm of a make-believe, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. To the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. To the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. She got that action just like I like it, so smooth like the first time I felt it. Pearls all down her neck, so dark, so smooth, yeah, she got me wrecked. She gave me magic in my fingertips, as my teeth are tugging on her lips. When I tapped that bottom, she liked it, so smooth like the first time I felt it. Baby, I don't wanna cause a scene, but I love the way I make you scream. We can float together on a dream, to the rhythm of a make-believe, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, when you're in my hands, I call you mine. I just got to have you all the time. Wind you up like I got you feeling right. I've been waiting for you all my life. If I turn it on, it might get loud. Set the rhythm, we can work it out. I like the way that we fit together, so smooth like the first time I felt her. Baby, I don't wanna cause a scene, but I love the way I make you scream. We can float together on a dream, to the rhythm of a make-believe, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. To the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. To the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. She got that action just like I like it, so smooth like the first time I felt it. Pearls all down her neck, so dark, so smooth, yeah, she got me wrecked. She gave me magic in my keep it tugging on her lips. When I tap that bottom, she like it. So smooth like the first time I felt it. Baby, I don't wanna cause a scene, but I love the way I make you scream. We can float together on a dream, to the rhythm of a make-believe, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, when you're in my hands, I call you mine. I just got to have you all the time. Wind you up like I got you feeling right. I've been waiting for you all my life. If I turn it on, it might get loud. Set the rhythm, we can work it out. I like the way that we fit together, so smooth like the first time I felt her. Baby, I don't wanna cause a scene, but I love the way I make you scream. We can float together on a dream, to the rhythm of a make-believe, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Alright, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. To the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. To the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah. Oh, to the rhythm of a make-believe, yeah.
Get that
What?
going.
Get the sound on.
Get the sound on.
Get the sound going.
That's important.
It's better.
I've heard it's important. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us here on Van Philosophy. I'm Jay,
And I'm Kyle.
and we're here just to sit here and chit chat and see what we're up to, what we've been doing, and we've got a cool topic today, which I was pretty excited because you had like a couple of ideas, and then we like kind of like moved some things around. It was like let's just do kind of more of a broad.
Let's do this.
So we do like a top 10 is what we were gonna do.
Yeah, we had a bunch of ideas of how to do this.
Do we
but-
still have some of that to put in here?
Yeah, well, I didn't get a top 10,
Yeah.
but I wrote down, like, we'll get into it.
Right.
Well, we started doing this because we just had to think of broad topics to talk about to stay awake on the road after a show.
Yeah.
Driving like, oh, the next place is 4 hours
Dude,
away.
we had some weird conversations, man.
Yeah. So we're going to have some
stuff.
weird conversations tonight.
So sit back, get in the chat. Make sure if you guys have anything to add in on the topics and stuff, get in the chat. Let us know. And we've got a few viewers here. Help us out a little bit. Give it a share. Take the little share button. Click the share. Maybe share
Yes.
on social media. Get some more people in here.
Please share.
but-
It's more fun with more people.
More fun, more people. But let's start it off with our what's up. What have you been up to?
So I got hit pretty hard with like a cold or a flu last week.
Death.
Yeah, and I got it was like Friday. Started coming on. We were supposed to have a show on Thursday or on Saturday rather.
Right.
And I was like, I'll be fine. I'm gonna get some sleep. I went to bed early, and then like the next day it was worse. And I was like, I can't. And then Sunday it progressively got a little worse, and then got a little better. But I feel pretty good now. But yeah, it was rough.
Well, yeah, I was at the card shop and I got the text message. It's like, I feel like something's coming on. I'm gonna try to like, shake it and see what happens.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm gonna like,
I didn't think anything of it at first, but
Yeah, I was like, because I went to bed super early. I was like, I'm gonna sleep it out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you can be like, no, I'm just gonna rest and drink some water and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it got the better of me. But I feel better now.
Well, what's funny is like you were like, no, I got it. We're gonna do it. We can do it. And I asked him, I was like, can we just do like a video chat real quick? Because normally that's if I'm feeling bad or we always do a video chat so we can kind of like really assess. If it's not just us
Doctor,
being
say
yeah, it's not just us being like ridiculous. And I got him on the phone. He's like, no, I'm fine. And you look like run over, and you're just like, I'm fine.
I was like, I'll wear a mask and I won't pass it to anybody, and we'll just go do the show.
Let me stand up for a bit. And you started like walking around.
I started walking around. I was like, I gotta sit down. He's like, you're not playing a show tonight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you couldn't make the decision because you want to go play, and it was our last one of the year, and like I wanted to go play.
Like I was bummed. I was like, I really want to go. Like I'm not like. I was like, he's gonna think like I just don't want to play or something.
No,
like, I don't, like
yeah.
like when you're not feeling well and you just run stuff in your head.
Yeah.
And no, we had to call it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna reschedule that. So we're really sorry, Anderson. We wanted to come out, but we'll be out as soon as we can.
And we'll do it.
But since I've recovered, I've been preparing for the Spotify release. Mm-hmm. We're gonna put Existential Threat's gonna come out to Spotify in a few weeks. So we'll have more for you on that. And then also the hard copy release is coming out for Existential Threat. So been just kind of like tidying up all that, making sure everything's ready for print. And
we were doing that right before we started. We were going over the artwork and the few little edits that needed to happen.
Yeah, we were like, oh, what time is it? Oh, we have to start. And we're like, oh, we'll just do this during the chat. It's fine. Like, they can see it.
We'll just sit here and
we'll be like, here, look, can you see on the screen?
Yeah.
We won't do that.
We're really excited about it, though. Everything's coming together pretty well. We're doing like a print of the lyrics again, like we did on Aftermath. But right now, the way it's laid out, you can't read it. So we're like, we got to be able to read it.
Well, it's like there's a lot more lyrics.
There's so much more
in
words.
Existential Threat compared to Aftermath. So yeah, printing them all as small as you can. That's where you can read it as a challenge. But I think we figured it out.
Right. As far as the Spotify stuff, like, you mean like, have you done any like submission stuff yet, or? Because your end of it's like submitting to those playlists. That's why we're waiting for the distribution.
You have a little window of time where you can kind of just shotgun out your stuff to Spotify. It will be on Spotify no matter what.
Yeah.
Just where it gets placed,
which will be the 18th, right?
Is that it?
I think it's the 18th.
You said that.
I think it's the 18th. We'll double check and let you guys know. But yeah, so it'll be available on iTunes and all that stuff by the 18th. But you'll be able to pre-order and pre-save by New Year's Day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you can pre-save.
Pre-save, pre-order, yeah.
And it'll be out a couple weeks after that.
Yeah.
But what I'm really excited about is we decided on the next Patreon cover.
Yeah.
All the requests came in. They were awesome. Like, all of them were awesome. I was like, I want to do all of these.
It's hard to pick.
We got to pick one.
Yeah.
But the one we picked, we won't say what it is. But I'm really excited about it. So I've been kind of like arranging it and writing it out and figuring stuff out. But I think I'm gonna start tracking guitars tomorrow.
Exciting.
And should have my tracks ready, early next week.
Right.
I think.
I did go and listen to that
the weird version
that you sent me. It made me laugh. I was like,
isn't it funny?
Weird.
It was like it was like Grateful Dead mixed with.
It was a lot more funky than
but I'm saying, but mixed with like Soul Brother 6 or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was the weirdest kind of genre.
So we almost ran off the road streaming it off the internet.
Oh my god!
You got to be careful, man. You got to be careful, dude.
Well, that's the thing about like podcasts is you can just listen to them.
You can listen.
Hopefully
the video looks good this time. I did a lot of testing and research over the past couple of weeks, and
I got the screen right here. I'm gonna kind of let you keep talking.
Yeah, and like I ran a few tests. Called my brother and had him help me out, and I got Kyle as well to help kind of view some stuff. We ran some tests. I think it's right now.
It looks smooth to me now. Y'all let us know.
Yeah,
if you've been watching the past couple ones, there's been some hiccups. But I think last week's was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
This one, the tests, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Because we're trying to do 1080. But Dylan, if you are driving, maybe not look at your phone.
Yeah, like rewind it later.
And, rewind it. Then let us know. Yeah, let us know what's going on.
But yeah, I'm excited about getting to tracking that tomorrow. Like, I'm really pumped.
And that's the thing about when those covers come in for Patreon. Like, any of you guys that see that, we might not have picked your song that month. Like, we might pick it next month. Especially when they come in like this. Like, this month, it was just like a slew of really good requests, man.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, I remember it was a couple months ago. We only got a few of them.
Yeah.
And
sometimes people get busy. And
but this song I was like, oh my god, like, it was really cool. And lots of people had multiple ones. They're like, either this one or this one or this one, and it was fun.
Right.
So yeah, there was the one that we were like, well, maybe we'll just do that one later because I think I want to do that one as well.
Oh, he meant the album. Oh, okay. Good.
No, I meant the album. It was jarring.
It was jarring.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
I've submitted all the stuff to distribution. Got that together. All the MP3. You know about all that stuff, but you guys don't know. So when you're doing the stuff for online digital distribution, because right now the album's been available on the website, but now you have to like format things a certain way and get the art and everything submitted, which I had to text you about getting the art to that right format to do that.
It's so funny how it's like it has to be sized this way for this, and
This
sized
many
this way
pixels
for this, and this for this. And,
It's
yeah.
weird. But
It's
anyway,
insane.
we got all that, then you have to kind of walk through the legality of everything and get everything registered through our publishing business. Like, what is it? BMI?
Yeah, we go through BMI. So there's
all that stuff
publishing,
registered.
distribution, and copyright.
Yeah.
Copyright was handled a while
Yeah,
ago,
copyright
but
was handled like before release to our website, but we handled all the
You
other
should
stuff.
always do that.
Always.
You know, if you're going to release an album, like copyright it first.
Right. So I've been doing that and doing a lot of cleaning, trying to get everything together. You know, I was thinking about, like, am I going to, like, decorate for Christmas? And I just don't know. You know, 'cause I've got kind of a newer living situation. I don't know where...
It's kind of like,
where am I going to put my tree? Should I even put up a tree? I don't know.
We got a tree this year. Last
You
year,
got a real tree?
Yeah, a real. Last year we didn't because we just had a real small fake one.
Right.
So we got a real one.
Set it on fire, burn it down.
You know what?
Yes.
That happened one year. No, here's the
You know
thing.
what? Yes. Yes, I
I'm gonna
did.
tell you something. Don't burn your Christmas trees.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't do that. You can just put them in the woods and let them, like, decompose.
Yeah,
You can cut 'em out.
but if you do, make sure you're like out in a field somewhere
Right.
because those things burn.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like so well. Like I saw it happening, you know?
Right.
And I was like, oh, someone like's got a gasoline fire going on. What's going on? There's a forest fire or something. And I
Right.
realized, and it was fine, and it was a wet day, and like we took the precautions, but it was my first time, you know, we just lit it vertically instead of cutting it up, and it was a sight to behold, and I'm never gonna do it again, and you shouldn't either.
Have your lips been, like, super chapped?
I'm sorry. That just reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite.
Dude.
When he's like, will you bring me my chapstick? But my lips hurt real bad.
Yeah. No, man, they've been, like, on fire the past week, man. Like,
No, I feel like
cracked right here.
I feel like I am just a chapped mess.
Yeah.
This week.
You
And
gotta try that Lubriderm trick, man.
I know. You know,
me.
my wife got me some like face cream. She's like, yeah, is this what I use? And I'm like, no, I think you're right. I need to get like
Just
the
the
man
plain-
lotion. The plain
People, if you're a man and you need one,
smells like boredom.
remember
Yeah,
you
you
need
know?
skincare. Two, you just get some Lubriderm unscented, no SPF, no nothing, and as soon as you get out of the shower, just a little bit, do your face.
Well, I told you I'm
good.
I'm allergic to SPF,
Yeah.
and it's weird. It's basically like I don't get a sunburn, I get a chemical burn or
Right.
something, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. And I found it out too because I remember like just putting a little bit of sunblock right here,
Right.
and then like. You know, the next day, there was this rash just right there. Like, I was like, yeah.
It's like burning, you're all on fire.
But, because, like, I never really wore sunblock as a kid, but then I remember everyone's like, you have to do it.
Oh,
You
dude,
need to do it.
yeah.
You gotta go do it. So I did it too, and then I just remember just being like, oh my God.
Well, you can clearly see the difference in our complexion and realize that I had to wear sunscreen or I would have been like a tomato. It was awful. But yeah, so I've been trying to get ready for Christmas, like trying to figure out decorations. I'm going to do that.
Excuse me.
And trying to get all the gifts and stuff too, because like tons of birthdays and stuff in December and Christmas as well. And
You know
trying to get-
whose birthday it is today? It's Maya's birthday today.
it's Maya's birthday today.
It's today.
Today.
We're going to hang out with him on Saturday.
We're going to hang out with him Saturday. That'll be fun.
I didn't send him a message. I might do it right
You didn't even
after.
send him a message?
Maybe he's watching.
If you're watching, Maya,
Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
But I'll send you a text when it's done.
Yeah. So we do have the release coming out. When we're working on the new cover, and we'll keep everybody updated with that, how that's going. I think we'll be releasing another one to YouTube for public. Maybe this month.
Maybe, yeah, either
We're
this
thinking
month or
about-
next month.
'cause we had to take a break.
We're
while
playing
doing-
catch up a little bit.
Yeah, while we were doing the record and finishing up all the final touches, but we're doing all that stuff. Is there any other upcoming things we need to update before we get into the topic?
I think we can get into the topic.
Spotify, iTunes, all those things will be January 18th.
all the third-party distribution. Because right now, and if you do want to just support us and buy the record,
Yeah.
and not listen to it on Spotify or YouTube Music,
But do
you
both.
Yeah, you can purchase it at rochambeau.com.
Yeah.
So it's there, and
Dylan knows this. Ask
yeah,
Dylan.
you'll be in
Ask
like
him.
you'll be in the club of like I got it first. I heard
Right.
it before everyone else did.
Right.
But yes, third party distribution's coming out, and that's always fun.
Yeah, that and we work on the new video. And that's kind of where we're at and trying to get this whole Christmas thing down. I do think we're going to maybe plan like a special Christmas stream. I don't know if we're probably not going to do like a live performance, but we're going to probably do like a thing like this where we're doing like some
We're gonna do a little Christmas special
gift
thing.
exchange, something, you know. But our topic for today is traditions.
Tradition.
You know, the title, I noticed it was just tradition. Mm-hmm. But I think it's more like traditions. You know?
Yeah, you know,
Because like
why have just one?
yeah, why I just have one? There's
Yeah.
some. Well, it's not only that. Like, do you have like the actual like what is a tradition?
Oh, I don't have that.
You don't have that?
No, but I figure like we can just talk about it.
Oh well, okay.
Well, I'm looking it up.
We're gonna get the
keep talking.
Google of what a
We're-
tradition actually
We're gonna
is.
look up what. Yeah, we'll Google it because that is something we do.
Well, because everybody's gonna have a different understanding of what it is. Because for somebody, it could be, you know, it's a hard one because like, is it the stuff that, like, you have like these weird common habits, but those aren't really traditions. So that's why I need like an actual
All right.
definition.
All right, so it is the transmission of customs or beliefs from generation to generation, or the fact of being passed on in this way.
Okay, so it's something that's being passed on. Is something that you do. Does it even have to? Does it matter like if it's like you're doing something?
Customs or beliefs.
Customs or
And
beliefs.
There is
okay.
a theology definition, a doctrine believed in to
Yes.
have divine authority, not in the scriptures.
Okay.
So I guess it's like a part of your religion that's not written down.
So it's stuff
just-
that like maybe like your family, you kind of got it from your family, and they've been doing it for years, and you kind of pass that down, like almost like if you got like what was it, Pulp Fiction, where you had that stopwatch, and he had to hide it in his rump to get it out of the war.
Oh yeah,
That's like a thing. And then maybe
Yeah.
he'll pass it to his kid, which would be considered a tradition. Mm-hmm. Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have any traditions growing up?
I don't think so. I mean, not unless getting yelled at and
Getting
told that you're never going to make it.
My dad yelled at me, and his daddy yelled at him, and they just yelled
So
all
I make
the
sure
time.
I make sure with my kids I tell them you're never gonna make it. That way it's a tradition.
I have two that come to mind. Other than like the normal stuff, you know, like we get a tree at Christmas,
Sure.
you know, and you know, like the normal stuff, Easter egg hunt on, you know,
Right,
and,
which
like,
is
stuff
traditional.
like that, yeah.
Right.
But I know one, and like I don't know who this was passed down from, but it was anytime you had a disagreement, we called it the pink chair, and because we had this like gaudy pink chair, and it was
Right.
like in the center of the living room, and no one ever wanted to sit in it.
Okay.
So it was like the trouble chair kind of thing. So it was like if anyone in the house had an issue with anyone, they'd be like, I want to call a family meeting, and so-and-so's in the pink chair. So you'd sit in the pink chair, and you had to sit there, and someone had to air their grievance and say why they were upset in front of other people so that it would all be civil.
Right.
And then you would all work it out. And then you would trade places in the pink chair. So then the person that was like, hey, I got a problem with you, and you would hear what they have to say, and they'd sit there, they'd have to be quiet.
Right.
And it was just kind of this like way of keeping the peace in the house.
Right.
So that was just like kind of, and I remember like I think my mom said they did something similar to that. So that was kind of like a little household tradition. I haven't passed that down to like my family now, but
Right. You have to go buy a pink chair.
I go buy it. Yeah, I was like, nah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I know like up north, like we have hay rides down here.
Yeah.
But up north, it's like you got like sleigh rides in the snow because
Right.
it's snowing all the time. And there's just like mounds and mounds of it. So I remember we would go over to my grandparents' house, and they didn't have horses, but he had a big old tractor. And we'd hook up a little sleigh, and like all of his cousins would like bundle up, and we'd go through the woods and go out to the field and see the stars and stuff.
Yeah.
And we do that, and that was kind of like our like holiday winter.
And you would
tradition.
traditionally do that every
Yeah, it was
year.
like that was like, oh wait, like we have
So
to
it's
like
like
schedule that.
So like tradition, it's like it's strange because like it's like that repeated process, and like what's weird about them is like, for instance, I know we get pajamas every year for Christmas. You know?
We do too.
Okay, so it's like
Yeah,
a thing. So a lot
that
of
is
people
like a
will
thing.
do like, you know, you gotta have the pajamas for Christmas, but then you ask yourself, well, do we do that this year or do we not? And I guess my biggest thing with that kind of stuff is like, what is the benefits of having these traditions? Because it almost like it's so human to like have something to hold on to that like is, it's almost like that normalcy of like to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom always got me like that same pair of shoes, like these my cool Vans. She would like buy me a pair of Vans every year, because like she'd always ask me what I wanted first, and I'd always be like, I don't want anything. Don't get me anything. You know, like she no, I gotta get you something. And like one year I was like, just give me some shoes. You know, just give me a new pair of shoes, because we were always on the road and I'd wear them out like crazy, and I'd just wear them. I'd have holes in them. I'd still wear them. I don't care. You know. So she started getting me a pair of shoes, and then this year, since the pandemic and stuff, I still have a brand new pair of these shoes in my closet that haven't been opened yet.
Yeah, I guess Tour didn't wear them out.
Yeah. So like, so now it like kind of breaks the tradition. So she's like, I don't know what to get you, and I'm like, you don't have to give me anything. You know, it's fine. But yeah, it's like we're like those little things that we like hold on to give us that sense of safety. Is that really what it is? It's like it's in that primal brain of having tradition gives us a sense of security.
Yeah, well, I think too, it's kind of like, I think it has to do with like legacy,
Right.
where it's like a lot of people, I try not to be this way, but I understand that a lot of people are. They go like, well, when I die, I want people to remember me. I want things to be like this. And I think it's kind of a way of like, kind of like immortalizing, not just yourself, but like immortalizing your ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, we do this, and our culture does this, or our family does this. And it's like your loved ones aren't gone. Is usually like, that's like why I think traditions exist.
Well, that's,
You know?
but that's always depending, because like
Yeah.
the shoe thing has nothing to do with legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, the sleigh rides had nothing to do with legacy or any
Well,
of that stuff.
I
So
don't know,
like,
but
what traditions are you talking?
Those might be though.
Like when you're
because-
talking about that, like, can you give me like an example of what you mean?
Well, I would think. Well, I know like there's. I can't remember the quote right now, but it's basically like, one day soon, the last person to meet you will think about you for the last time,
Yeah.
and then you're allowed to die.
Right.
And I think it's just kind of this whole thing of like, you start traditions so that way, you know, your kids do it too, and their kids do it too, and then someone's going to tell a story about you, or not just you, like not in a selfish way, you know what I mean, but like I think it's a way of like connecting generations.
Sure.
You know what I mean, where it's like we all do this together,
Yeah.
and we're all going to remember each other.
Do you have an example that you can talk about that connects to that legacy part of traditions?
Well, you know, I think like honestly, like people that like, you know, religion's like a big thing. You know, I don't necessarily think like religions really exist for all the reasons people will tell you that they exist. I think a lot of it is to keep a culture together.
Sure.
And
Well,
so, you know, it's
that-
like
that's
everyone's
a- that's
like,
a
you know,
whole
like I
different-
was raised Catholic, and
the
so was my
whole-
grandparents, and so was, you know,
Yeah.
like generations and generations, we always did that. But that is like kind of a special thing that you share with them, whether you agree with what it is or not. You know?
Right. Well, I mean, you're suggesting that religion is kind of a tradition? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Well, I mean, and Google kind of referenced it, that it's like it's a part of religion,
Right.
You know, or it's like what's the word? An application of religion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because
You know, as-
there would be Christian traditions or Jewish traditions,
Yeah, or Hindu, or like
Muslim
whatever,
traditions,
whatever it
yeah.
is. Yeah, it's something that's passed down where it's like you teach your kids this way, and you teach them to do these things in a traditional sense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I don't know if that falls under like a legacy thing, because then you're not really thinking of any. I mean, unless you're talking about like legacy of Jesus or legacy of.
No, I think it's like
Somebody.
legacy of your culture.
Right.
I don't think it's necessarily. I think like you can start your own family traditions for your own, you know, legacy.
Right.
And I think a lot of people do that. Be like, my grandpa started doing this, and so my dad did it. Now I do it. But like they can tell where it started. But I'm sure a lot of things it's like, you know, who was the first person to put up mistletoe and say, "Oh, you got to kiss somebody." You know, I mean, like I don't know,
Right?
But someone did it and it caught on.
It was me.
You know?
I did it.
No, I mean
that's interesting that you view it that way.
yeah.
Because like I said,
I think it's a way of connecting generations.
Yeah, because I think it can definitely be that. Like I see kind of an overview of how that makes sense, but that's where like those tradition things kind of break up, like from like the like cultural traditions to like personal traditions. Because like I said, for me, like whenever I look at like buying pajamas every year, or I always get Kyle a silly gift, or whatever it may be. You know, every second week of the month we do this. You know, it's a tradition that I'm trying to make with friends or whatnot. It to me, that sort of repetition, that sort of reoccurrence gives us comfort, and it's more of a security, like something like it's known to be expected. I mean, like, because when you're in survival mode, you know it's not, that's not expected is the lion going to eat you. Right. You know what I mean? Right. And like you don't find comfort in the not knowing, but the knowing you find comfort in. Mm-hmm. You know, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, and I think that also like it makes sense that like that defines tradition for me. I guess you know what I mean.
Right.
And I think I view it that way too. I don't know if if I sat there and went like, well, that thing you do every year, like you get together with family for Thanksgiving,
right?
And I don't know if I would go like, oh, that's a tradition I have.
Yeah.
But it is, and it does give you those things. Yeah, that sense of like, oh, I know that this is gonna happen. It kind of like it seems like that's why there's always a holiday. It's like you have as many holidays as you can, and you almost have one every month. You know, and I think it's
especially like towards the end of the year because we're all like everything's getting cold. Like,
well, no, but I think there is one. I mean, like, okay, you have New Year's and you have Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Like in the United States, we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. That's like a big thing,
right?
In March.
And that's the one about the snakes, right?
You know, it's not. That's a funny thing. We can say that for St. Patrick's Day. That's actually a really cool story. And you know, April, you have like Passover, or Easter, and Mother's Day, Father's Day, Independence Day. Right. I don't know if there's a big one in August though.
You know, Dylan has a good point. Like, where is the line drawn? You know, between like, I think it's really more of the way I separate it in my brain is probably more of like between like cultural traditions to like personal traditions. Because in cultural, you have things that span for hundreds of years, and we've kind of developed them into new things. Like you go with Christmas, it's like the winter solstice. People have been celebrating this time of year for a long time. Halloween, Samhain, like it's a thing, right? And it's been going on for like thousands of years. This is stuff that's been passed on through generations of culture. But where you have like little smaller traditions like the pajama thing, or I get a teardrop for every person I've killed. One of those.
It's a tradition.
It's a tradition.
Passed down.
Passed down. My daddy did it. His daddy did it. His daddy's daddy did it. No, but like I think that's kind of where you can draw that line. But I think that they're really totally different things, because most of the cultural traditions, I think you'll find that they are surrounded by things that happen naturally anyway. Like the harvest seasons, and then
for holidays
and stuff. Spring things come into life, so we're kind of celebrating these things because the world, we kind of adapt ourselves and celebrate.
Most cultures converge
the cycles. On it. Yeah.
Hey, Rufus.
I was thinking culturally, in the United States, I think of like, well, we shoot off fireworks on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
That's like an American tradition. And
that's a tradition.
Rufus is joining us.
Little Rufus cat's traditional.
He's sweet. He's a sweet little guy.
If you have the new record, you'll actually find this dude perched up on the
he's like on like
the square
on the town square. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on a concrete block or something.
Little Rufus.
Okay.
But I remember I lived in Spain for a little while, and I had a class and we had to give a presentation, and they said most of the people in the class were from another country. And so the professor was like, I want you to come in with a recipe of something that like is from your culture,
Right.
of food and how it's prepared, and explain it, and and give a 15-minute long thing. And I remember thinking like, what is American cuisine? And having a problem with it because we get our culture from everyone else's culture.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like all the stuff I'd eat growing up, and I'd be like, well, that's Italian, and that's French, and that's German, and that, and I was like, and then I remember like everyone be like, oh, like you're gonna like tell everyone how to like microwave hot dogs.
Sure. Right.
And I was like, no, that doesn't really feel like that's like American traditional cuisine, but I guess it kind of is, because if you go to some festival somewhere, you go to a ball game, like there's hot dogs and hamburgers, and that's like a thing.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, the microwave hasn't been around since America, though.
No, like they were just giving me shit, obviously. But
do you? I would like to know, those of you in the comments, like, do you guys have traditions that you celebrate, that you continue to do, that you plan on sharing with your kids or other family? Is there something that's like different that's kind of cool? Do you have anything like that like your family does?
I know like personally I kind of have tried to shy away from tradition.
Yeah.
Because again, you kind of go like, oh, what does this mean, and why are we doing this, and
like circumcision. Don't do that to your children.
So I know like I've kind of purposefully tried to not have real purposeful traditions,
right?
If that makes sense. But like stuff leaks in, because like I said, like we got a Christmas tree, and it's nice to have one, what I mean? And so I can't really say, but like, and we do the pajama thing on Christmas.
Yeah.
So like I know there's little things, but I don't think there's anything that's really idiosyncratic about my personal life and traditions and stuff, other than like those memories I have. I feel like the pink chair, like not a lot of families are run that way. And my mom, growing up, my mom was very much like, all right, I want you to repeat after me. May I please make an appeal? You know what I mean? Like my mom was very like, but also her mother was that way. Her mother was like very strict, very proper. Very much like even at meals, it was like, okay, you sit down there, and so and so is going to bring the food out. Yeah. And it's very like, not like strict and rigid is the wrong word, because like you've met my mom. Yeah. And my grandmother was like a super bubbly, kind person.
She's a wonderful lady.
But that was just kind of how like my mom was raised and how I was raised, where they're like, no, you need to be able to speak properly, and you need to be able to like go to court and know what you're doing, kind of a thing. Sure. You know what I mean? And
what is that? I'm trying to wrap that around. What are you talking about tradition? Like,
well, no, I just like I see that. Like, because I remember my grandmother talking about how her mother raised her, and it was just kind of like I can kind of see my own family tradition of like, you need to speak with proper etiquette, and if you have a grievance, do it in a proper way. Yeah. And in a way that you would do it in front of a judge or with a police officer, or like, and learn how to communicate that way. And that was a big thing with my grandmother.
And do you find yourself doing that?
I think so. I mean, obviously I'll be like, no, man, what's up? Yeah. I got a problem with you.
No. I'm not saying it's from a.
But as far as like,
as far as passing it on.
With my kid, yeah, absolutely. I try to instill like it's very important that you're able to communicate effectively, and properly, and like you be able to give a speech if you need to, kind of a thing. Right. And yeah, that was something that I can definitely see as like a personal tradition that's kind of been handed down from 4 or 5 generations, I guess.
Right. Yeah, because I mean that's the thing, is like some of them are important to uphold. You find things that actually like benefit you, your family in a positive way, but there's other like traditions that can be negative, like negative traditions. Like people like that have grown up around domestic abuse, that where their family not only were also involved in domestic abuse, and that was kind of passed. And you've got to find and a lot of people, I mean, it's hard because like that's things that are baked into our brains. Like whatever we're around, we tend to like repeat and do all that kind of stuff. But it's important to break those cycles, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is kind of one of those things where like the idea of tradition, personally, like I consciously kind of try to shy away from it, even though, like I said, like stuff leaks through. I'll be like, well, I remember my mom always told me this, and like, and I want to tell my kid that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think, yeah, it's like I kind of want to have the outlook of like find the good things in life and do those things, and like you don't have to do them just because someone else was doing them.
Right. For sure.
And I think that's kind of what we do as humans, and like that's why we've progressed. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Through evolution. That's why we've progressed, is because we go, well, we've learned this, and this is what we're gonna do, and you know, those things that were done before, we're gonna not do those things, and like we're gonna live in houses now instead of living in caves, and we're gonna, you know.
Well, that's because the aliens came down and like spliced our DNA and made us into what we are.
Yeah, and like gave us language and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, probably.
Dylan says here that the only one thing that he picked up from family is local bands. Like my dad followed around a blues musician and drug him around to these bars and grills as a kid, and find myself following in his footsteps. Right,
That's cool.
Like something like that your dad was doing to show you, and then like you kind of carry that on. So maybe whenever you have a child, or if you do have a kid, that you'd end up doing that.
Well, I don't think you have to like. I mean, I guess maybe according to like that definition, it has to be a generational thing.
That's what I was saying. Like the pink chair,
on.
to me, I don't think that's a tradition.
Yeah.
You know, I would think.
Well,
that
screw you. I don't care what you think.
No. I feel like it's like that thing where it needs to kind of jump a generation. You know,
like
now
it has to be repeated.
If you were to pick that up and you're like,
And
now I have
a
a pink
chair,
and this is what we do, then I guess the stamp.
The stamp.
But some traditions don't pick up.
It's a failed attempt at a tradition, maybe.
But what Dylan's talking about here, that's a cool tradition, man. You know, that's like, I mean, like, I remember my father took me to some like bigger concerts, but only a couple. Not a lot. He was actually a musician himself. And traditionally, in my family, it's actually traditional to be a musician.
Yeah.
To be actually like play music.
Yeah, that's right. Your grandmother was.
My father was a musician. My grandmother was a musician, and I'm a musician. So it's like cross, 3 generations.
You know, I can't really think. As far back as I can go, at least in like my line, I guess, like no one's had the same career.
Right.
Like everyone's like.
My dad gave up on it. Like my dad did that stuff whenever he was like younger, but whenever he got older and stuff, he felt the pressures of society, and like a lot of people do, and got like a more serious job or real job.
Get a haircut.
People say, yeah. But your mom was a musician, right?
Yeah, she was for a while. She was a high school teacher,
right?
For most of her career, but yeah, she did music professionally. I guess kind of on the side.
Right.
She did. My mom did a lot of stuff. Like she was a teacher. She was a coordinator for a foreign exchange company for a while. I remember like being a kid and like that's what she was doing. When I was like a little kid, my earliest memories.
Right.
Like going to the office with her and stuff. And my mom did concert promotion. And she released like some music and stuff, and
yeah. So it's like
so I guess
even like career wise, she didn't make her music the main focus. She was still a musician, so
yeah, she's still like a professional musician. Yeah, absolutely.
Rachel says here that her mom would drive her around to see the Christmas lights, and it meant the world to her. And that she takes Coraline to see the Christmas lights every year, and it's one thing I really love sharing with her. Coraline said, "Tell Rochambeau I said hi." Hey, what's up? So that's really cool, man. Like little things like that just because again, I think it hits those nostalgia bones, man. It really relates to that part of that brain that gives us that comfort. That, I mean, and it's like if your kid or my kid grow up to be musicians, there's going to be that thing in us that go, that sense of pride. Now, no matter what they decide to do,
Or I might be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
find a different life. It's miserable.
What are you doing?
Yeah. You're not going to make any money. No.
No, you can make
But
money playing music.
there's that sense of pride. There's that sense of like comfort in knowing that it's this thing, you know. And it does develop, it does change, but it is something like that. It says here, we get lost in the beauty and fun of that tradition. I see the look and I feel her having fun. It means the world to me. Yeah,
You know, I guess one thing.
That's awesome.
Now that I'm like thinking about it a little bit more, I know, like music. I feel like, you know, the way that you experience music, and like your initial, what's the word I'm looking for? Your initial exposure to music, a lot of times it defines how you view music and all that stuff. Like everyone listens to music, you know, you listen to the radio or whatever it is.
oh man, music sucks. It's bad.
But I know, like on my mom's side, music was very much a part of starting and ending your day. To where I know my mom said, and my mom did it with me, and I do it with my kid. Not so much now because she's older. But like when you wake someone up, you sing a song. And when you go to sleep, you sing them to sleep. And that was, I know, a thing like that was like my initial thing with music is like I'd always wake up and I'd always hear someone singing.
You've never sang to me asleep. Out of all these years.
I mean, well, you are my baby.
I know.
You are my baby.
I don't get any singing. I don't get sleep singing. I want my sleep singing. You're fired.
But I remember, I know, like, I always just assume, like, everyone does that.
Right.
But then I talk to people and be like, no, like, sometimes I'd get some songs before we'd read a book, go to bed or whatever. But I know, like, that was probably, like, a big important thing of, like, why I wanted to become a musician. Because I was like, well, that's what I was completely immersed in growing. Like, I'd wake up and I'd hear a song, and I'd go to sleep and I'd hear a song. And that may have been, like, you know, like a family tradition that kind of, like, shaped me to be like, well, no, I want to do that.
Well, do you know if
You know?
if your mom's mom,
I know my mom.
did she sing to her?
Yeah. She's always singing. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
I remember too, like she said, like my grandpa like was not musical at all.
Right.
And she said like him learning to play guitar was like, and all the kids would like try not to laugh because you can't laugh at dad.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my grandmother, she was an awesome person. She's like super joyful and bubbly. And yeah, I can kind of definitely see like, oh, okay, and that's like why my mom was that way, and that's why I'm this way, and that's why you know how I am with my family now. So yeah, it does come like, yeah, you've personal traditions that you don't really think of traditions. You're just like, oh, that's just how we live our lives. It's not really like no one was like, it's tradition,
Right.
You know, wake up with a song and we're singing this song, but it was always like the same 3 songs or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like we were talking about before. So there's that cultural and then personal, and both of them mean a lot. I think they're both like integral to like what we are as human and like what we do, like living and trying to understand this weird life of all of a sudden you're here and all of a sudden you're gone. What is that? And these things like been passed down for generations. I mean, as far as like holidays, have they changed and developed? Different things to do during those holidays have changed and developed, and things that get passed down from mom to to son or dad to son through the years, and then you carry those on, and them coming from generations before. And I think they do help in a sense of security and a sense of understanding, because it's something to like for our little monkey brains to grab a hold
Monkey
of.
brain.
Monkey brain.
We're gonna get a little thing like anytime Jay says monkey brain,
Right.
we're gonna get like monkey brain.
Yeah. It's something for us to grab onto, because life is complicated. Life is weird. It changes from day to day. Like you wake up and some days you're on, some days you're off. But if you have that something that like oh man, like but I get to go to Mom's next week, and we're doing this, doing the dinner that I remember, and
Yeah, it's like it's a part of your life that you can control,
Right.
Because you know it's going to be there. Yeah, man. I'm like, like there's always a holiday too.
Yeah.
I think it was on Instagram or Facebook or something, but there was it's like a National Day
Right.
calendar, and like every day, there's like 8 things to celebrate if you want to.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good perspective to have. And I don't think it necessarily has to be like a celebration. It can be like, oh, well, this day we remember this, or this day we, go throw green rocks off the mountain, like whatever it is,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right,
It's like you give yourself a little pocket of control that kind of grounds you. And, I don't know if I ever really thought of it that way. But it does seem that that's something like we do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you guys for your input. I thought you guys had some great stuff to say. But do remember that we're here every Thursday. We're trying to get back to doing this stuff.
Let us know what you guys want to talk about.
Yeah.
We started this literally because that's why it's called Van Philosophy, is because we just sit and talk about a subject. And
Yeah.
a lot of times we'd load the last bit of gear in the van and put on the GPS and be like, we got 5 hours.
Yeah.
And Jay's like, pick a topic, man.
Yeah.
And we would. And I think I remember like one time I was like, Roman Empire, and you're like, Google that shit.
Let's look it up.
And like, so we did. Like, we went
Yeah.
through, like all the Caesars or something, and just nerded out. And it does. It keeps you awake. But it's also just fun.
And this maybe be a tradition. Every Thursday
Every
we get together.
Thursday, we get
hang
together
out.
and we just nerd out about
We
whatever
chat.
we want to
Yeah.
keep each other awake.
Yeah, so if you have suggestions, make sure you leave them in the comments for next week's vlog. Also, we're going to be putting up a post over in the Rosham fam. So if you're a part of that group, look out for the little post. We'll probably do that here in a little bit and see what's going on.
So what do we got?
Well,
What
we
do
do-
we
we do-
got something coming up here, right?
Well, we do
On
want
the
to
screen?
remind you guys that we still have our merch available over there on storefrontier.com//Rochambeau.
It's time to talk about merch.
But they always got sizes in. They got cool stuff over there because they have stuff that we're not able to keep in stock because there's so many designs, so many different things. And right now, us not being on the road full time right now at the moment, they have everything print to order. So all the sizes, all the colors, and
Multiple colors.
and you can get different designs and different colors.
Yeah, if you don't want that, like that the rattlesnake one, I love that one.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I like it in the green.
My favorite is the rattlesnake on the yellow long sleeve tee. I think that's rad.
Ooh, that would look good.
It's rad. It looks good. But yeah, be sure to go over there and check it out. They got all kinds of cool stuff. Super fast shipping, high quality stuff. I know it's like a little bit of shameless self-promotion, but like
But we got to do it.
these are the things that help us keep going. They're cool. They actually have great merch. It's really great quality. We're not like just...
And they
saying
take
that.
care of you too.
And they take care of you. They keep you updated with everything. And also, if you want to support us directly, you guys can go check out Rochambeau on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Rochambeau. Is it / When am I going to figure that out?
Why don't you just say slash?
/ because
And just be
that's
like
the
MP.
guitar player for Guns N' Roses.
And like, oh, do you remember? Okay, do you remember back like in MySpace days when
No.
it was before emojis.
No.
It was before emojis, and so people would like make a little heart with like the letter V, or they draw little pictures,
Yeah.
and some of them would be really, really detailed, where
Right.
they're just using every little stroke on that the keyboard can make.
Yeah.
So I just imagine someone being like patreon.com and then making this huge detailed pixel thing of /
Yeah.
that's just lines and lines and lines of code.
But if you're curious,
So don't do that.
don't do that. Check out over here and see what the different tiers are. We've got where you can just get a normal little shout out for like as low as $1, and then we have those. Like we were talking about it earlier, the monthly cover videos that we do. We submit a little form. You guys do requests. We pick from those, and we do a full production of the song and shoot a performance video every month, and that is exclusive to you guys. And then there's also the backstage pass stuff if you feel like giving a little bit more. And we update you guys on everything that we're doing. We're trying to get a lot better about just every small little detail. we're letting you guys know what we're up to, what we're working
A lot
on.
of sneak peeks. Like if we talk about, oh, we worked on this art, and be like,
Yeah.
well, we'll show that to the Backstage Pass people. before
Yeah,
it's
so like the
released and
people
stuff.
that are on the Backstage Pass will see the artwork in its entirety as soon as it's finished before they even get sent off to the print.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the $50 call, it's cool. We call you, we talk FaceTime every month, and we do like a little call. We'll even play a song. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to do it for us today. We're super glad that you guys tuned in. If you're on the rewind, thank you for doing the rewind. If you're here live, we love you guys. You are the cool kids of the cool club.
And make sure you subscribe, so that way you'll get a notification and hit the notification bell.
You do the little bell. You know, it's
You
funny.
do the little bell.
You watch all the YouTube videos and they're like, hit the little bell.
Bing!
But it is a thing. Because then it'll actually send you the notifications. I know, like, since we've been getting back to doing these, it's not telling as many people that we're actually doing it because of YouTube's algorithm or whatnot, because our page doesn't have, millions and millions of views, because we don't, like, stream...
We're gonna get pies.
First
Pie in the face.
First-person shooter
Pie in the face
games,
stuff.
you know.
And first-person shooter games.
Yeah, that's going to be, we develop into that. But make sure you guys share it around, share the page, help us out, click subscribe, go over to check us out on Facebook, check us out on Instagram. The links we just showed you guys before, the links are down in the description to go find any of that cool stuff. And also, fun update is that we're getting a brand new microphone too. So if some of the stuff sounds a little harsh, we're getting a brand new microphone. It should be in later this week. So next week on Thursday, we will have that for you guys. But would like to say thank you guys for being here. We love you so much. Take care.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.